All right, so you want to deep dive into AI agents, huh? Well, buckle up because we're about to do just that. Seriously, though, I know you're all about boosting that productivity, and let me tell you, this stuff has me seriously intrigued. I mean, you hear about folks with these digital assistants, and it's like, are they for real? Can they really do all that? Imagine, just picture this. What if instead of being buried in research, competitor analysis, all that data digging, you had a whole team working on it around the clock? While they're busy with that, you're free to actually, think big picture, strategize. That's the kind of potential we're talking about with these AI agents. Now, let's be real. There's a ton of AI help out there, right? Everyone's promising the moon. But for this deep dive, we're cutting through all that noise. We're going to figure out what's really going on. And one thing that really jumped out at me is how things are shifting away from those massive do-it-all AI models. It's becoming more about combining different AI tools, almost like, I don't know, building with Legos, but for getting specific tasks done. Remember that question you had about AI planning your perfect vacation? Like, trying to tackle that with one giant AI model is, I don't know, asking a race car to bake a cake. This doesn't quite fit. But here's the thing. If we break it down, give the AI access to your calendar, company policies, even flight and hotel info, suddenly we're talking. It's about having the right tools for the job. What are your thoughts on this whole compound AI approach?
Yeah, it's a really interesting development. And I think it comes from, a deeper understanding of how AI actually works, or more importantly, how it doesn't work. Think of it this way. Our brains, we've got these two modes of thinking, right? Fast and slow. Like the fast kind is what we use for quick decisions, no time to overthink it. But then the slow kind, that's the deliberate stuff, the planning, strategizing, all that. And AI right now, much better at the fast thinking, really good at specific tasks, but the bigger picture, not so much. And that's precisely why this whole one AI to rule them all idea, well, it hasn't quite panned out. And that's where these compound systems come in, these AI agents. They're more like specialized tools in a toolbox, each one with its own strength. But, and let's be very clear on this, they're not sentient beings making decisions on their own. We're still the ones calling the shots, using our skills to build these systems.
Okay, so we've established these AI agents aren't some kind of magic genie, right? They're systems built with specific tools for specific jobs. And that actually makes them even more interesting, don't you think?
Absolutely.
That's like, those awesome multi-tool gadgets everyone wants? Sure, anyone can buy one, but the real trick, the real power comes from knowing which tool to use and when, and how to really use it effectively.
Yeah, exactly.
So instead of me rambling on about multi-tools, can we break down what an AI agent actually is? What are we building here? I came across this analogy, I think it was Andrej Karpathy, big AI guy, and he said building an AI agent is like building a whole operating system, like for a computer.
Right.
We're not just automating a task, we're creating something with its own logic, its own process. They're a whole different ballgame.
Exactly. And just like an operating system, an AI agent needs certain components to function. Think of it like this. For an AI agent to plan your vacation, it needs a way to understand what you're asking for in the first place.
Okay. Makes sense.
This is where those large language models come in, those LLMs you might have heard about.
Right. Everyone's talking about those.
Yeah, they're like the brains of the operation, able to process language, understand meaning.
So like, they're the ones figuring out what plan my vacation actually means.
Exactly.
What?
Don't get too caught up in the jargon. Just think of them as, I don't know, superpowered language processors.
Okay, got it. Superpowered language brains. But an AI agent needs more than just a brain, right? It's got to be able to actually do something.
Exactly. It needs to act on what it understands. And that's where those external tools we talked about come in: access to your calendar, to travel websites, even something as simple as a calculator if it needs to, crunch some numbers.
So it's like giving it hands to work with.
Exactly. These tools are how the AI agent interacts with the digital world, gets things done.
Okay, so it's not just telling an AI, book my vacation. It's about giving it access to the right tools, defining the steps it needs to take, checking your calendar, finding flights within your budget, maybe even booking that hotel with the ocean view, right?
You got it. And there's one more crucial element: memory.
Oh, right. Got to remember stuff.
Exactly. An AI agent needs a way to remember what it's learned from previous tasks, interactions. Could be anything from your preferences for hotels to like how your company's vacation policy works.
Right, so it doesn't try to book you a vacation when you're not allowed to take one.
Exactly. This memory is key for the AI agent to actually improve, become more helpful over time.
Makes sense.
Now, there are different approaches to actually building these AI agents, and one that's gaining a lot of traction is the RIACT framework. It stands for Reason Act.
ReACT. I like it. Sounds active. So how does this framework actually work when you're building an AI agent?
Imagine it as this continuous loop. The AI agent first tries to reason to understand the task.
Yeah.
Then it takes action using its tools. Based on the outcome of that action, it reasons again, figuring out the next best step.
Right.
And this cycle, this Reason Act loop, it continues until the goal is achieved.
So back to our trusty vacation example. The AI might reason that it first needs to know your available vacation days. Then it would take action using access to your calendar, your company's policy, to get that info. From there, it might reason that, okay, it's time to look at flights, which prompts it to act again by searching travel websites.
That's a great way to put it. And through these little cycles, these Reason Act cycles, the AI agent can actually piece together your whole vacation, all while navigating those little hiccups that inevitably come up.
Right, because life hardly ever goes perfectly to plan, does it? This is where things get really interesting, at least for me. We've broken down the how of AI agents, right? But seeing what they can actually do out in the wild, that's a whole other level.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of the tools out there honestly kind of blew my mind when I first learned about them. I was digging into this guy, Adam Silverman, super plugged into the AI agent space.
Right.
He talks about this tool, God Mode, and it sounds like, well, exactly what the name implies, you know?
Yeah.
Like instantly enriching your data, building out whole email sequences, stuff that would normally take someone like hours, done in a snap.
It's incredible.
And then he shares this story about an agent called Mindy, which is basically like your personal briefing team.
Oh, wow.
Before a meeting, Mindy analyzes your calendar, pulls up everyone's background, recent news about their company, even suggests conversation starters.
No way.
I know, right? How slick is that?
Yeah.
That kind of automation, those little efficiencies, I don't know about you, but to me, that's a game changer for how I approach my day.
Yeah, it really changes how you think about work.
Totally. But I'm curious, from your perspective, what has you most excited in the AI agent world?
I think it's definitely exciting to see these smaller, action-oriented agents really taking off. They're showing so much promise for handling those really focused tasks.
Right.
But you know, we also got to acknowledge that there are still some limitations with where AI agents are at right now.
Sure, of course. They're not perfect yet.
Exactly. Impressive as they are, AI agents, they're still pretty narrow in their focus. They're like specialists.
Yeah.
Fantastic at what they're trained for, but they don't have that, you know, general intelligence, that adaptability we humans take for granted.
Right. Makes sense.
And there's also this trade-off to keep in mind. We can program these AI agents with really specific rules, make them super efficient, but then they're not so flexible. Or we can give them more autonomy to like learn and adapt, which can be really powerful, but maybe not as predictable or controllable.
That's a good point. It's like comparing a chef who nails your favorite dish every single time versus one who might surprise you with something totally new, but then again might burn dinner every now and then.
Exactly. Finding that sweet spot, you know, between that really programmed approach and a more, I don't know, agentic, flexible one, that's going to be key as AI agents keep evolving.
Speaking of evolving, it's clear we're just scratching the surface here. Silverman, the guy we were talking about before, he even touched on this idea of AI assistants anticipating our needs before we even realize we have them.
Oh, wow.
It's like, imagine your AI not just managing your schedule, but like proactively clearing your calendar for focused work time or suggesting collaborations based on projects you're tackling. That's next level.
Absolutely. And rather than, you know, that common concern that AI agents are going to replace jobs, I think the real opportunity is how they can augment human capabilities, open up totally new possibilities. Think about doctors using AI agents to analyze medical images, freeing up more time to actually connect with their patients, or architects using AI to design super sustainable, efficient buildings. I mean, the potential here is really huge.
Okay, I'll be honest, my mind is kind of blown after going through all this. This deep dive has been incredible. So to wrap things up for our listener, what are some key takeaways to keep in mind? And maybe even a little challenge to leave them with?
Definitely. First off, it's crucial to remember, AI agents are powerful tools, but they're not a magic solution, right? The real magic happens when we have skilled developers taking on well-defined problems, using the right AI tools for the job.
Right.
Second, don't be afraid to experiment. This field is moving so fast, and honestly, the best way to learn is by doing. Start by looking at your own work, even your daily life. What are those tasks you could automate or, supercharge with an AI agent?
I love that.
Remember that notebook idea? Jotting down those repetitive tasks, the things you wish you had more brain power for? That's a perfect place to start. Figure out how AI agents can make a real difference for you.
So to our listener out there, if you could build an AI agent to take on one thing in your work or life right now, what would it be? That's something to chew on as you explore this whole world of AI agents. This has been quite a journey. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into AI agents. Be sure to stay tuned for more deep dives exploring all sorts of cool topics. Until next time,